So much to talk about.
Get it, Craig?
Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, JC Crown Cuts Academy, Bristol, Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown. We got a rocket episode today. We spread love the JC way. The only way we know how to do it is the Crown Cuts way. With my co-host himself, live in person.
Am I Fields? Am I your barber on Instagram?
And we got to give a shout out to who from last week? What's his name?
Let me pull him out. We'll shout him out before it's over. I got to pull him out real quick.
Yeah. We got to have a banging episode today. We're going to talk about, my guy, what we talking about?
We are talking about continued education.
Why is that important?
It's always important because if you're not growing, you're decaying.
Oh, you dinosaur.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
falling backwards.
A rolling stone gathers no moss.
No doubt. Where'd that come from? With the spice. We got two special guests today. And we're going to talk about continue ed. Why is it so important? My guy, you want to take the lead and drop some dimes, drop some bombs? Because, we got people around the country, around the world listening to us.
Yeah, I was trying to find old boy on
From
Florida.
Asia to New York to Maine to Chicago to China, Scandinavia, all around the world. Madagascar. All around the world.
I don't know. I just like saying Madagascar.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
But
though.
right now we're in over 80 countries.
Let's go.
Yes. And we had a guy last week. I think he was from New Jersey or Texas.
You talking about the guy that hit me up?
Yeah.
He was from Florida. I'm trying to
give
find
him a
his
shout
name
out.
Yeah, I want to shout him out if I can find his name.
Yeah.
We keep it rolling though. We'll get to it.
Well, introduce yourself, guest. Let's go with it.
All right, I'll go first. My name is Preston Sprinkle. I'm one of the co-owners of Breaker Barber Company. My Insta is Preston Cuts Hair, and brought with me today one of our very own barbers, Miss.
Heyo, I'm Clara Wood.
That is their radio
Clara
voice.
W. Grace.
That's that radio voice you talking
Oh my
about.
god.
I just
Yes,
want to.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I want to put you on while I go to bed.
I don't know how
That's why
I
I'm
feel
just play
about
Claire's
that.
voice and just go to sleep. Like, oh man.
Just like comforting.
Okay, well, I'm not
mantras.
trying to
Exactly,
put
do
everybody
this.
to sleep, but Breaker Barber's where it's at.
Yes, sir. Let's blow it up. Let's do the thing. Let's make it happen. Let it do what it do.
Shout out James Como. James Como, a guy in Florida, project manager. He was in his 30s. He quit his job. He decided barbering was for him. And he said he listened to me and Craig's listen to the podcast, and it's really been inspirational to him. So shout out James Como. I think
That's
it's Como. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
James, hope we pronounce it right. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. Always appreciate the love when one of our loyal listeners send us just a saying a thank you for inspiring them, because I think it's big, and that's what we set out to do. We set out to push the industry, take it to the next level, and let people realize your dream and your goals is attainable.
And these are your alumni right here. These are
Yes,
and,
sir.
and Preston and Claire starting her career, and Preston, man, they've really created something. Him and Claire created something beautiful. I think, in Jock City.
big movements, major movements.
Try to, man. Try to.
Major.
We're very blessed. Like that's all I can say. We're
Yeah.
super humbled by it.
Preston is one of the stylishest dude
What?
in the area.
Most fly. If you don't
go.
if you don't follow him for his haircuts, follow his Instagram for just his swag. Man.
Super
You
fly.
need your own Instagram swag.
Whatever.
Man.
I
Stop
think
that.
Tommy's gonna pick him up one day.
Tommy,
Yeah,
Tommy is fly. I noticed that about Tommy the first time I met him. He was fresh to death.
I'm talking
too.
about Tommy Hill.
Oh, Tommy Hilfiger. Oh,
Oh, hey, shout
That
out Tommy, though,
Tommy.
bro. Let's go. Tommy's got a good look about him. Tommy Hilfiger. Let's,
Yeah.
man, kind of dating yourself on that one, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I don't know that Preston's ever rocked any Tommy.
I wore Tommy when I was like 3.
I'm just,
Oh.
I'm just thinking about the magazines, how they dress. You know,
if you had your own clothing brand, you could call
They're
it
gonna pick you.
Justin
Yeah.
Sprinkle or something.
Listen,
Or even
if-
Gooch.
swag.
Listen,
Gooch.
if Gucci or Prada want to hit me up,
Yeah.
listen, I ain't complaining. Shout out to Prada. I'm
Yeah.
right here.
But one thing that maybe want to bring y'all on, it would talk about today was with continued education. If you don't know, if you're in the area or want to be in the area and or want to do some continued education classes, Preston and Cody, and they are always hosting them at their shop, and it's an awesome spot. And they're gracious hosts every time. They make you feel at home, and that's what made me want to talk about this topic today: continued education.
Continuing education is so important because when you stop growing, you stop learning. And I think it's so important for every student out there who started in this industry to think about not just cutting behind the chair. Think about your next move and think about continuing to enhance yourself, because there's so many different things happening around the world, around the country. And I think it's important to get a piece of it, because when you get a piece of it, you can add another layer to you as a barber, as a master barber. You're not a basic barber no more. Basic barbers just sit in the shop, just cut hair, and just sit around and don't want to grow. Master barbers, they do everything. They want to learn as much as they can to enhance their craft.
And I learned something from everybody that's come that I've been around or been involved with or continued education. Shane Nesbitt, Joel. What's Joel's last name?
Joel Sharp.
Joel
Yeah,
Sharp.
man, good dude.
Then we'll have Trevor Mooks coming.
Yeah, JC Mill.
Yep, JC Mill.
And he's coming to Micah's shop
Yep,
too, right?
Taylor
Yes,
May Grooming
yes,
Lounge.
yes. Yep,
Yeah, right.
yep.
Greenville. So yeah, it's just a beautiful thing, man.
And Collective, dude. He's making 3 tours. Shout out to
that's
Austin Hayes,
crazy.
bro.
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
it, how long
man.
is he gonna be here Monday too?
He's gonna be, I think, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and
I was going to ask him if he can get on the podcast Monday. That would be so dope. Because
Dude,
I
yeah.
mentioned
He
I mentioned
probably
to him.
would if
Re-
you.
Reach out to him.
yeah, reach
For
out
real.
to him. See
Well,
what's up.
I mentioned it to him in Knoxville when we
Okay,
did the
bet.
hair show in Knoxville. And he said, "Yeah, just let me know." So
Cool.
hopefully it'll work
Yep,
out.
yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
we'll
that.
put you on for sure.
That would
So
be
when you
great.
think of continued education, Clara, what comes to your mind?
Oh man, anything. Not even. Man, even in the day to day, like I had Emma in my chair. What was that last week?
Last week.
And I was learning stuff from him in the 30, 45 minutes that he was sitting there.
Right.
Um,
Learn how to keep talking without saying anything.
yeah, yeah.
Get that gab going.
No, but even I don't know. Even if I'm sitting around between clients
Yeah.
or whatever, I'm picking stuff up from Preston and Cody because they've been in this years longer than me. And then, I mean, we have an expo coming up in May that we're already talking about going to as a team, and have more people coming to the area for classes that obviously aren't even at our own shop. That's super beneficial.
The importance of what you guys do in Preston is so important because I feel, not just feel, but I know just from traveling around the country, we have a good thing here in East Tennessee, and we have to continuously mold it and enhance it because what you guys doing, it helps put the whole collective of East Tennessee on the map. Because I don't want barbers to just think that we have to go and reach out to get what we need. We can get it right here, and that's the importance of what you guys are doing. That is so important.
That's one thing that I've learned. Like that's made me like so hungry. It's like before when I first started cutting hair, I was like, oh, I want to get in the industry. I want to be in the industry. I want to be involved in the industry. And now I've gotten to like, we are the industry.
Yeah.
We don't need to be into this so-called bubble of industry. We got our own industry, and we're creating our own brand in this area of the world.
Because it's important for us to have that niche in East Tennessee. We got some boss barbers, first off. Shout out to all the barbers in East Tennessee.
Absolutely.
We got some amazing female barbers. You guys, what you guys doing? But we got some boss barbers that came out and who was applying pressure to other barbers is making them better.
Right on.
And
Definitely.
that's important. But to continuously getting better, continuing education is number one on your list. It should be at least.
Yep.
It should be at least. And the hope is eventually we can get recognized. Because people still think it's just dirt roads and horses and buggies in East Tennessee, which is not.
That's not all of it. That's not all of it.
There's some of that somewhere.
There's some horses walking
Yeah,
around.
So you go out to Jonesboro or something, you might get a horse and buggy.
Out in Greenville.
I heard
mean-
somebody shout, "Yeah!" on the way over here.
But truth be told, you can go in any state and see that.
Sure.
Upstate New York, it's country land up there in New York. You know what I mean?
Right.
In some parts of Massachusetts, there's country land out there too. So don't let that fool you and think in this part of East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, there's nothing going on. Because in the age of internet, social media, you can get what you want in an instant, real quick.
It'll be like that place in Florida where they put like 40 or 50 some NFL players in the league from this little hick town,
Right.
but it's because they chase rabbits when they're children. And when I'm serious, when they're young, like adolescents, they chase rabbits until they're older into high school, and they become so fast and quick and agile. That's what's going to happen here with the barbers. You come up in, you come up in Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, and you're a barber here. They know you went through the fire and flames to get to where you're at.
So talking about let's stay on the topic. Let's stay on hand. Talking about continuing education. What do you recommend? Because believe it or not, there are some barbers right in the industry who've been cutting hair 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and has never been to a continuing education.
I'll take that one just
Go for
because,
it.
like, I mean, I have no, I've only been doing this for almost 4 years, so that I can't speak to them. But what I can do is say I see it, and it's very to me as someone who craves it and wants nothing more than to see the success of everyone around me I think it's a disappointment to see barbers who are, they claim to be masters, and that's dope. Like, I love to see it, but like they're not going to anything to pursue and to further their craft. Like, I think that's such a missed opportunity.
But one of the
Mhm.
key things is a lot of times with barbers, they just get stuck in thinking about just hair cutting.
Sure.
And when you just start thinking about hair cutting, the only thing about hair cutting, you don't see, you just get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And it's hard for you to leave the chair because your thought process is, I have to be able to make money. And this is a broad topic, because you can go back and say, if you're not managing your money right, you're going to be stuck behind a chair where you can't evolve and go and do those things. But it's important because if you just sit behind the chair and don't try to go out there and learn different things, barbering becomes boring to you.
Totally.
It becomes like an assembly line. So that's the importance of continuing education. What do you think, Clara?
I mean, first of all, stop making excuses and write that crap off.
Excuses are the tools of what?
Incompetence and lead to yep.
She
Finish
said,
it off.
"Yup."
But yeah, I mean, we had Shane Nesbitt come in the shop a few weeks ago,
2 weeks
and
ago.
it was surprising to see the lack of people in the area that came. I mean, the people that did come, it was
Right.
great. It was wonderful. And even if you're not picking up something that he's doing in a haircut, you're still networking with people around you. And networking is a broad term, but like building relationships. And that's why like Trevor Moots is coming into town, and like probably hang out with him because he's just a friend that
Yeah.
is also incredible and you learn from.
And
So
the key word you say, network. Network and your network increases your net worth.
Bro.
for sure.
And that's one of the key things I always want to do, just to unify even East Tennessee, whereas we're just a barber industry, not selective. So when something like that comes around, it's more important that everybody come and support and everybody come and pick up something, because even if, like you said, you might not pick up a haircutting technique, you might pick up a friend, someone in the industry who you could lean on and have a question. You might see him somewhere, something that they might have, and you want to know, like, yo, how did you do that?
Mhm.
And it's important to kind of support collectively, so we can all have that not, you shouldn't have no courage or be difficult to try to talk to someone. It should just be natural. You see someone like P, what's up? What's going on? You down there at Breaker, man? I'm down here at Collective. Yo, let's link up. Let's go have lunch.
And we love it.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when that comes around, it'd be easy just to network and just feel
Right.
like as a family. And that's one of the things I think that the key ingredients that the barber industry is missing.
I appreciate the more human element of it. Like I like the fact that you can meet people. Like, you get on, especially if you're a new barber, you get on Instagram and you're looking at these top dogs, these people but they're just people.
Yes.
They're just people. And most of the time you meet these people at these hair shows or continuing education class, they're just grinding, trying to make it to the next day like yourself and trying to do something better with themselves. And it's nice to see and meet these people and know the struggle they went to and talk to people like Shane and just to actually converse with him and make a connection with somebody that has struggled to get to where he's at and is struggling every day, but is still trying to do his best day for day. And I think
Sure.
that's beautiful.
Because I
Mhm.
do believe, and everybody can speak on this, all barbers went through the same struggle when they start, not knowing what to do, and then and then developing your skill,
Yeah.
developing your place in this industry. And it kind of almost kind of like a disservice when some barbers don't want to spread that love, making it seem like they arrived and everybody else is beneath them.
No, that's heartbreaking. Like, I mean, I can speak to whenever I first started, like, um, in a place that felt very, it wasn't, but to me, after a while, it felt very assembly line esque. And to get caught in that rut of, I got to crank these haircuts out, I got to do this, or I'm not doing my job right, to see others around me like they're killing it,
Mhm.
but they also like that idea of they're better than you because they've been doing it longer. It I You have to fight even now. Like, I have to fight those urges to say, like, I'm not better than you. Like, just because I've been doing it a couple more years longer than you
Right.
have, like, that means nothing. I've totally lost my train of thought.
You're doing a great job.
Oh,
Keep
no.
it rolling.
No, I mean,
I just love hearing you talk.
I had a question for you though. Did you have the desire to continue education whenever you did feel like you were just assembly lining
Oh,
it?
absolutely. That part to me was what kept me going. Like, especially before Cody and I opened towards the end at my last spot, like if it wasn't for hanging out with other barbers and getting out of that shop when I could, like I don't think I would have made it another, whatever, 4 or 5 years, like,
Yeah.
And
because it's soul sucking.
that's the importance, and that's why I stress, like, when we're in school, hair shows, we got to go to these hair shows, because you kind of it's the development, in the inception of getting to the point where you're meeting people and knowing what they're like, what they do. How can I mimic or model myself after something or someone to get myself not in that assembly line thing where I could be
Yeah.
like, man, this industry is so fun. This thing is amazing. This thing is great.
But they didn't have this. This wasn't available 10 years ago, was it? It
No,
wasn't. It
no,
was.
it was available. It was just that our industry, as we know it, and we talk about it, people don't respect it. People
No.
and the barbering
Yeah.
industry is just getting the respect here, because a true story. I spoke to one of my friends last week, and her son wants to go to barber school. He lives in Nashville. Shout out. And she had a hard time because she had plans for him to go to college, do certain things, and she had a hard time of him telling her, "Yo, my mind is set. I want to go to barber school."
Yeah. That's tough. Like I've been there. Like they have certain plans for you, and
Yeah.
when you interfere with those plans, there's a major pushback, because that generation, this is like, she's probably roughly your age, correct?
Yes.
There's something about the Gen X generation that sees this industry as not
Profitable,
not
hobby.
profitable, not respectable.
Yes.
But this is, as soon as you said something earlier, it clicked on me. Like the respect, we've created this culture,
Right.
and oftentimes we make fun of it, that like we're celebrity barbers, or we treat ourselves like hip hop artists, the way we dress, the way we act. But
I say that all the time.
Yeah.
but also
Barbers are like rappers.
Yeah.
it's because we've done that to ourselves. We've gassed each other up,
Mhm.
and I think we build each other up. So we forced people around us to treat us with a different level of respect.
Of course.
And I think we've helped create our own positive image on this industry,
That's what needs to happen.
and that
And
absolutely.
it's growing, but
Yeah.
we fought so long. Remember, we're trying to catch up to so many years of the industry not being respected.
And that's a testament to part of it to you and guys like Shane that have made it something.
I
Like,
mean,
Mhm.
well, the key is, like myself, the love I have for it, and I tell people I never had a bad day when I went in the shop since 2000 to now, going into the school. I think that helps kind of turn the knob a little bit, because if you hear someone says in their profession they haven't had a bad day in almost 20 years,
it's a big deal.
that's a major deal. And those things are important for all of us to say.
I really think COVID had a serious effect on it too, because they're like, "Oh, we're not essential now. We're not essential. Let's show how essential we are." And
I mean, but people still, when I tell people that, they laugh at it. And I tell people the salaries of the barbers, what they make. They're like, "For real, barbers make?" I'm like, "Yeah, my first students in the first class, they came out bossing out. They make some good money, great bread. And they didn't probably realize the bread they was going to make, but you guys made some boss money
Sure. Yeah.
coming out your first year." You know what I mean? So that's a testament of taking the craft serious, understanding that this thing is going to be fun. I'm going to mold it. I'm going to make it what I want for myself. And this thing's going to feed my family, myself, and possibly maybe the next generation of people that's coming behind me.
what do you look for in continued education, Claire? Like when you go, like what are some of the things that you're trying to identify, other than just haircuts, that you look for when you go to continued education?
To kind of combine that question with what Craig was just talking about, I think that like if you are in it for just the money and not to care about people, then like why are you doing it, honestly?
Right.
And so some things that come from continued education are new ways to care about people. If it's like an actual thing within the haircut or whatever, like, hey, I'm going to put a hot towel on this person's head for this reason, whatever. Yes, great. That's wonderful. And that's stuff that you pick up at continued education, or that I have.
Also, hearing people's stories, hearing their
and
background, where they
yeah,
came from,
for
where you can
sure.
relate.
For sure. Yeah. Picking up new ways to talk to people. That's what blew my mind. The first expo I went to, it was crazy because I was like, there is someone from pretty much every walk of life here. Like, I would have never talked to this person had I not been here, because we're just like,
Just love the industry.
yeah. Just so full of so many different people. And so even just learning new ways to talk to people and learning new ways to care about people is
I think about
so
that.
important.
I think about how hard it is to fly to a different city, to meet a bunch of people you don't know, to show them how to cut hair, and then you know that they're trying to pick you because they're all barbers themselves.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult of a thing that would be, and how confident you would have to be in yourself to do that. I thought that's one thing I thought about a lot after Shane did his thing. It's like, could I do this? Could I go somewhere and meet just a bunch of strangers and perform in front of them? Like, that takes a lot of ability.
I mean, you could, but think about it on this perspective. Shane, he is someone who's been in the industry for a while,
Like 30 years, right?
and the
22,
same love,
yeah.
the same
22.
love that Preston has, Clara have, you have, he has that love too. So when someone comes to him and want to ask him a question, he wants to share it. When you make something like that your passion, and you're humble, you want to share your passion with people. You want to answer as many questions as possible because you understand the importance of your legacy. You understand the importance of this industry and where you want it to go.
For sure. And I love going to every class I can, not only, like you said, to network and hang out with cool people, but also to grow in myself, because like every little, like, there's always something. Like, I might not, I might know everything going on in the haircut. There's always one thing, even like the hot towel thing on the hair, like laying it. I have been doing that religiously, like laying the hair down with hot towels, and like, I just think that is so cool. And if you can't pick one thing up in any continuing education you go to, then are you really listening? I don't think you're listening at all.
That's it.
And then also too, don't think about the cost of it.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you know what
Write
you
that off.
I mean, don't. I mean, yeah. Great point. Write it
File
off.
your taxes too.
Yeah.
Write it
Big
off.
facts.
But you have to think about the barbers are coming over. No, I don't think nobody's gonna try to beat you.
No.
You got barbers flying across country, flying from different places, trying to come up. So go and patronize that situation, because the cost more often than not is not just for the shop to make money.
Yeah.
You got to fly them out,
fly them in,
Airbnb,
hotel,
food.
just to kind of, you know what I mean? And then you want to give somebody something in their pocket a little bit just to show the love, you know what I mean? So it's more than just thinking about, man, this $10, $20, $100. This, I mean, what you're doing, you're helping the industry grow, you supporting the barbershop, you supporting the industry, number one. And then you're picking something up, you're learning, you're growing. So don't take it as, man, I'm going to give them bread. I'm giving them some money. No, you supporting the industry.
Yeah.
The
I can promise you, the shops are not making money off of those tickets. That's all going to the educator like Joel and Shane. Like, we don't make money off of that. That helps, provide a, that's an offering to them.
it
Like, the way I
helps
thought about it,
offer
y'all had
some-
to add more money to it, honestly, to make it
Dude.
work.
Mhm.
it helps add support to
Yeah.
the whole infrastructure, the whole system. That's what that's about.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, your etiquette too at these things. Like, you should never criticize. You should always be open, even if you know what he's doing. Be attentive, or he or she be attentive to these people and be respectful, because it is a difficult thing to do, and it's very hard to stand up in front of people and do it. So I've heard people mention that they've had to ask people to leave classes and things like that. Please don't be if you're listening to this, don't be that person. If you're that guy that gets kicked out, or girl that gets kicked out of a class,
Dude,
you gotta be a
Facts.
super dirtbag.
Well, if you go,
Facts.
if you're not going there to learn, you going there to cause problems, be obstructive.
Yeah.
Why would you go?
why would you go?
Exactly.
Makes no sense, man. Like, Shane and I were talking about that. He's like, I hate that, people will ask me to come to their shops, and then like in 30 minutes into it, I have to ask someone to leave because they can't keep their mouth in control. Like
There's a difference
yeah,
between asking a question and being disruptive
absolutely, yeah, totally.
and
Like
being attentive to what's going on, because no side conversations. I mean, put your phone up. I mean, if you're taking a picture or something, that's cool, but
yeah,
it'd be respectful to ask, hey, can I take a picture before? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make sure there's some ground rules to you, because it's just respectful.
And they mentioned that. Was that something that Shane
Yeah.
asked, or did y'all come out there
No, it's
yourself?
something we wanted to do, like just to challenge. Like I have this right here is so easy for me to be on.
We all know,
Like,
as the barber industry,
like it's just what it is,
yeah.
But like I just want to challenge people, like, hey, I'm gonna be taking some photos and stuff, but when I'm not, I'm really gonna make my best effort to put this in my pocket and pay attention. And I'll just challenge them to do the same. Like it's not a penalty. I'm not gonna kick you out for texting your spouse or whatever. But like
Some ground rules, but that's the thing. Like I was alluding to, that's it. It just adds a knock on our industry.
yeah.
It put a knock on our industry when people call where you work, and people will call the shop. Hey, what you doing? I'm cutting.
Yeah.
And then people are too.
I'm cutting.
People are just too willing to look at the world through a phone, anyways. Like, just be in the moment. Like, enjoy being here. Like, you don't have to look at it through a screen. It loses value. Like, okay, you can go back and look at it, but you don't get the same feel for what you felt then.
So, question out there for everybody. So, how many times a year should someone think about going to continuing education courses?
Hit them with it.
I'll hit them with it. I hate that. Like I know that's a great question. I think it's very subjective. Cody and I have made it a rule for us that we are going to do our absolute best to go to at least 2 a year.
Right.
And because honestly, for a lot of people, there are semi-local ones. We have one in Knoxville. We're very fortunate to have that. So that's one we're going to go to every year, or try our best to go to every year. But then, like this year, we're trying our best to go out to Connecticut too. We want to make that happen. There's one in Vegas. There's one in Atlanta, and then there's one in Florida, Alabama. You have Premier, which is a big deal. So I would say go to 2 big ones a year, write it off, and then go to some little classes that are around you.
Yeah, I got a text Saturday from IBS in Vegas, talking about doing the Confess project out there
in Vegas.
Yeah,
tight.
Yeah, but but what you was talking about just kind of gave me an idea and a suggestion, a thought. Now, there's a difference between going to a hair show and going to a continuing education. You could break it down in 2 different ways.
Totally. No, I absolutely agree with that, because sometimes you can go to these hair shows and only go to like the competition side of it.
Right.
You don't have to pay for all these classes. When I say expos, like we're not going to just go walk on the floor, like we're going to go the classes that are hosted by different companies.
Get up extra early and stop for some coffee, and then go to the class.
Be there from 7:30 to noon or 1 or however late it goes. Yeah, because I think it's super easy to go to, like, it's like, yeah, I'm going to a hair show. Like, oh, that's cool. It's like, what are you doing? I'm going to be in the competition. That's it. And it's like, nah, man, go to those classes. Like, what I look for now in a show or an expo as an owner, like I'm looking for the next thing. Like, I want to see what my next step is supposed to be. Like, I cut hair now. My dream was to own a barbershop, and Cody and I do that now. So it's like, okay, as an owner, what's my next step? Is it to have a second shop? Is it to promote Devin and Clara up to the management so we can take a back seat and they can run the show? Like, what does that look like? And so it's like, I count on guys like Chris Bosio and his partners, and like Trevor and John. Like, I count on these guys to like look at them, and Shane, like, it's like, okay, what's next for us? Like, so they can take their next steps.
Well, and being a part of those people's next thing, is huge too, because there are opportunities that they have that you're able to be potentially a part of or whatever. And once again, it's the network.
Increases your net worth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or even just like for me, I learned anywhere I'm around the industry, I'm always trying to pick things up. Like even just going to visit their shop, like going to their shop or going to Craig's shop, or when we go to these hair competitions, even if it's just a competition, like being on stage, watching how they manage themselves, or classes. Like for me, continued education is anytime around hair, I'm trying to pick something up or trying to learn, even from my clientele. Like if I got a guy's a doctor, what's your opinion on coronavirus? Like I'm trying to learn from everybody that I meet, and if I can't learn from you, if I not to be selfish and not to enjoy your company, but if I can't pick something from you or learn or something to help drive me, I really don't like being around people like that just don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Just
Well,
I
that's
feel
where
like it's an empty life.
well, that's where it becomes your passion. It's your passion when you start talking like this. It's your passion when we talk about a topic and you think about it and a smile comes on your face. That's your passion that's coming out. You know what I mean? That's something that you love to do.
Mhm.
So breaking down, I was getting back on this topic about because some people might just think that you have to go to a hair show to go to a continuing education course, but there's still two different. You can split it up because a continuing education course could be at a someone just keep keep has it at a shop
Sure.
or you rent a room out. It doesn't have to technically be at a big hair show. But if you go to hair shows, like you said,
Totally.
there's two sides.
Totally.
There's the competition side, and then there's the education side, where they have different classrooms set up that you should take advantage of. And the key is when you go to a hair show, a lot of the good classes people miss out on are early in the morning.
Yeah, dude.
8 a.m.
Ain't that the truth?
So if you thinking you're going to get there by 11, 12, 1 o'clock, you missed out on some great classes. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I've been to 3 shows so far. The first one I went to, I broke my bracelet, which is sad, but it was called Barberville in Charlotte. There I met Tyreek Jackson, Vic Blends, Eddie, I forget his name.
Shout out to Vic. He's doing something with a correction in Vegas where he's starting in I think 4 prisons in Vegas. He has a barber program out there.
And that's beautiful to me
Yeah,
because I worked
that's
in
big.
prison. But you know, you have to meet these people at face value. Then I went to another one in Charlotte, which was Cosmoprof, which that was a whole totally different environment from the whole barber thing, but it was still the hair industry, so there was
Yes.
love everywhere.
It's dope.
Everybody still had love. I got to meet Patty Cuts,
Sick.
dope, got a bunch of great people. And then I went to the last one in Knoxville, which was, man, got me so and the coolest part about that was I wish I can go back in time, but you know, I follow all these local barbers on Instagram and you never see them in person. And then, you know, like I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed and all these people were there. I'm like, man, I should have met these people. I feel like I could have met
East
everybody.
Tennessee has some boss barbers, and I'm not talking about like this barbers who cutting black hair, white hair. It doesn't matter. We have some boss barbers in East Tennessee. I think the concentration of East Tennessee probably have I want to say that the best barbers in the world, but somebody gonna jump on this and be like, "What?"
You're a little biased.
I'm sure you got people
I mean,
coming
I
up to
am.
you
I
like,
mean,
you're pressing for
yeah.
Breaker Barber. I'm sure that happens all the
No
time.
chance. No.
I'll tell you, I'm a brag on them. We went to I was at the Shane Nesbitt class in Breaker Barber, and I'm asking these 2 guys, I'm like, so where y'all cut hair at? And one of them's like, well, I'm in high school and I'm getting ready to go to school. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who inspired you? He's like, Preston and Cody. I'm like, it's crazy.
That's
He's
dope.
not even in barber school yet, you know?
That's
So
dope.
it was-
That's big, man. I mean, because what you guys trying to do is show parents, hey, it's okay if your kid come to you and said, I don't want to go to college. It's okay if
Yep.
it's okay if your
Yeah.
kid come to you and say, I want a career in barbering. And I'm not just saying, not just barbering, but say a trade school, carpentry,
Totally.
plumbing, HVAC.
And like with
Elec-
Kate's parents, like
yeah,
they were so supportive of any decision.
Yeah.
They took her to community college and they did like a test to evaluate what she might be good at. And then they're like looking at the top of the list and they went and pursued, like they even took welding serious. And I can see Kate could probably bust out some nice welds, you know, but that's not what she was passionate about.
Sure.
But it was really cool that they did that. So just
Yeah.
be supportive, you know.
dude.
Or make a deal with your parents. That's what I did.
I mean, but talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I mean, yeah, I was in college and enjoyed it, but also barbering is my passion and caring about all of it is my passion. And so it's just a conversation that I had with my parents, a very long one and whatever. Anyway, so I was able to finish barber school without doing it at the same time as college, and then I'll just go back and get an associate's or
Because the
whatever.
importance of that is, right, because a lot of kids who want to go to barber school, they don't know what to do.
Totally.
So just hearing what you're saying right now, man, just have a conversation with your parents and just be open and honest.
Well, and know your own stuff. Like, don't just be like, yeah, I want to go to barber school. Like, know your
Research it.
stuff,
Yeah.
know about it.
Do
Yeah,
some
yeah,
research
yeah.
and be like, yeah, I can make this amount of money. I can do this. I can be mentored. This is going to be big for me. This is something I'm just going to stick with.
for sure.
Because there's so many kids who go to college and they just stop. I mean, college can be tough at times. It could be depressing. It can be so many different things.
I had a guy coming the other day with his kid and get his kid a haircut, and they were like 16, 17. And he was like, yeah, my kid's going to go to, she doesn't know what he's going to do yet, but she can go just do 2 years of general studies. And I'm like, I just want to be like, stop it. Why would you go waste all this money and just do, general? I mean, it's okay to go to school, but if you have no idea what you want to do, why would you go throw $30,000 down the drain for nothing?
For gen ed.
Exactly.
You can take those classes in high school.
You take, community college or something, and you can do them online and on your free time.
You had a similar story too, though, right? With college and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I dropped out, and that's something I would tell parents, like, or whoever, if someone in your life comes to you with an idea.
I am uncomfortable. I don't like doing what I'm doing.
I don't like what I'm doing. Be supportive of them. Like, that was something I unfortunately I didn't get from some people. Like, and there was people that relationships were strained for a year because whenever my wife and I told them what we were going to do, it was not met well, and that hurt. And so, and on the flip side of that, there were people. Her grandparents being one of them. Shout out to Grandma and Granddad Richie, yo, let's go. They looked at me, and I told them, like, I was scared, and I was like, I'm tired of college and I want to go to barber school. Granddad grabbed me and he was like, I'm so proud you found your passion.
That's key.
And that was it,
That's key.
Like,
that one support system, right? You're like, man, thank you. Thank you, Granddad.
I heard this one inspirational speaker the other day, and he took somebody's glasses and he put it on somebody else. He said, can you see through those glasses? He said, no. He said, no, because it's not your prescription. Your prescription is made specifically for you. So you can't tell somebody your vision. They can't see your vision because they have their own prescription.
Yep. Well, I think a lot of times parents or individuals, they see something and they're not thinking about the person, the child. They're thinking about their peers. What would my peers think because my kid chose to work at the trash company? What would my parents think if my kid wants to work at the electrical company, or want to put up lampposts, or just want to dig holes? What would my parents think? But you have to realize it's not what your parents think, it's not what your parents want, it's what will make that individual happy.
I was thinking about my dad bucking. My dad bucked it too. He wasn't there. He's like, you stay at the prison and be miserable for the rest of you because you get insurance.
I mean, I don't think when I jumped in this industry, nobody was resentful. Yeah. I mean, because it was just, I remember starting out, and one Christmas, my dad gave me a pair of clippers and my mother gave me a pair of clippers. And it's like, cut.
That's awesome.
They were separated, but they gave me the same pair of clippers. And it's like, just
dang.
You know what I mean?
So started your collection of clippers you never used.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But,
oh, man.
But you know what I'm
They
saying?
get clogged up and they go in the bottom drawer.
Yeah, they do. You know, but and I never even thought about it. I don't know what I would do if someone was like, you shouldn't be a barber. Like, I don't know what I would do.
Crazy.
Or think different, because you're not gonna make no money. You got a kid to feed. You have a wife. You got a husband. What are you gonna do?
I don't know, man. Like that whole, like, the money thing. The money thing's forever gonna get me, because it's like I don't think I was called just to make money. Yeah. I think I was called more than that.
Yeah.
And like barbering gives me that.
Right, and that's why I tell people that when I started cutting, and I wasn't cutting for money. I was just cutting because I was happy. I love my clients. And I never once thought about what salary I was going to make.
Sure.
I never once thought about my bank account is going to be this much. I was just happy.
Yeah.
And if I made $200 that week, I was happy.
Yeah, man.
It was so joyful.
I'm the same way, and I mean, I did a haircut before I came here, and I was like, man, don't even worry about it, because I just that's my goal. I mean, that's for myself. That's my prescription. My mental goal is to get to where I cut hair when I want to, and I'm still financially supportive of my family at the same time. So that's for myself. That's where I've set my goal.
So let's talk about some hair shows that we know of around the country. I know there's IBS in Vegas.
Bronner Brothers they put a lot of them on, like
Bronner Brothers,
Knoxville,
Premier.
Premier,
Then
the Connecticut Expo,
what is that? Jay Majors does his.
What's the one in Florida?
It's Orlando, right?
Premier.
Yeah, it's in. Is
yeah,
that Premiere as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's hair shows in Detroit. There's in Dallas. There's in Cali. There's in. I mean, every state has a hair show. So how would we if we talking to we are talking, not if we're talking to the masses around the
Yeah.
world, around the country, we have to tell them and give them cues on where to go. So what do you suggest?
I don't know. We need some kind of national database, to Instagram. I mean, I guess you could just follow the major companies and start there.
Yeah.
Premier, Bronner Brothers. I mean, if you follow them on Instagram or website or something like that,
They're always posting.
yeah, we need some kind of database that can hold it down.
Talk to local barbers in your
Yeah.
community. Find out where the next continuing education course is coming up. I'm pretty sure everyone in the United States is within, I'm thinking, about an hour and a half of a continuing education course.
Sure. Yeah, totally. And I think too, like part of it would be like, find one that does it well, but then also find one that meets your budget.
Yes,
Like
that's key.
you may not be able to go to like I don't really know who's the most expensive, but let's say you
Probably
may
travel fee would just be the
yeah.
big
So
thing.
so you may not go to Connecticut, but you could go to homie down the street who's hosting a private course.
Right.
That might be your cheaper route.
And then if you have to go, you want to go out of state or go to a different route, team up with your peers.
Totally. Yeah, man.
Get an Airbnb, get a hotel, camp either one day.
Link up.
Link up.
Or even if you don't plan on going, share it. Share the information. Let
Yeah.
people know that it's happening. Even if you're not planning on going, just to spread the information around, give people an opportunity to go.
Totally.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, because
sure.
I know Trevor's supposed to be coming, and I know he's going to be in
And Micah,
Greenville.
TaylorMade,
Yeah, but
and
I,
JC Mail.
yeah, and I try to
Shout
share.
out.
I shared all those, even though I'm only probably going to go to JC Mail because it's more convenient. I
Right.
still try to share all of them because somebody in that area might be closer for them to
Totally.
go to.
Yeah.
And Hanzo, which do a good job too. They have hair shows. I mean, continuing education course all around.
Yep.
I know they sell their shares as well, but they usually have a stylist come in and do a wonderful job of a haircut and break down how they going through about their process of cutting hair.
Trevor's Hanzo, right?
Trevor's Hanzo, yeah.
Yeah.
Joel
was
is too,
Hanzo.
technically, but
Yeah.
we brought Joel in on his own. That's the nice thing. If you choose to go through Hanzo as a school or a shop, they'll put it on for free.
Yes.
They bring out like a shear rep, and they'll do their speech on shears and stuff, and they'll try to sell you guys stuff.
It's like a timeshare meeting.
Yeah, kind of. So
It really
they'll-
isn't very painful.
they'll bring someone
Sure.
out for their end, and then they'll bring out Trevor or Joel or someone super awesome like that, and they'll do their deal.
Just trading your time for the education.
Yeah, and that's free. Like that's going to be free to. And like I think they do some tickets that cost like $25-$30.
Right.
That's not going to the shop. That's going to Hanzo and bringing out their reps and stuff to like fly.
I mean,
stuff.
you should want
That's
to pay. You
dope.
should want to
Yeah.
patronize just something. You know what I
Totally,
mean? You
man.
should
Like,
want to.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, information. You know what I mean? Even if it's $5, you can
Ain't
tip
nothing.
those guys,
Totally, dude.
and you can totally go to a show and tip a guy.
Mhm.
I don't think people even think about that.
I was actually planning on bringing a gift for
Yeah,
the one because
that's-
they said it's free, and I'm like, well, it's free. I still, you want to
That's-
show
that's-
love.
that's
You
a
want
good-
people
that's-
to want to come.
That's a good
Oh, yeah.
idea. That's a good idea to put out there in the universe. You
Yeah.
go to a hair show, continuing education course, that's someone that you familiar with, that you like. Hey, just bring them a thank you note. That'd even be more special. The thank you note say, hey, thanks for coming East Tennessee. I saw you at Breaker and Barber. Hey, man, I just want to say appreciate that. And you might slip a Starbucks card in there for $5. You know what I mean? Just I
I'm a
think people,
coffee, like,
people appreciate. No, people appreciate those things.
Yeah,
Those
dude.
things are important.
totally.
Yeah.
That's super nice.
Yeah, continuing education course.
I
think
tried
it's
to be
amazing.
nice and bring them something, but they had like 6 of them. So I was like, well, at least I brought something.
You did. It was. Oh yeah, no, dude, that was
What
dope.
was it?
That was it.
He brought that bottle of Buffalo for the show.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah, and then
Oh,
they put
see,
it right
but we
next to
talk
the big
about
one.
that.
No.
We talk about
No,
that
I
often.
I can't tell you how awesome that was. Like when
Yeah.
you did that. That was because like we're gonna start restructuring the way we do whiskeys and stuff. So Seth Birchfield, shout out to Seth, brought us that big bottle you saw. So we use that for the house whiskey. But like the nice thing is like that can be a consistent thing, and so you added to that
Mhm.
to where once we run out of that, we have more. And so
Yeah.
like that was a big deal. Like
Yeah.
I was super thankful. So
Well, I
on the
appreciate it.
podcast, I'm gonna tell you right here, right
You
now.
don't have to. You don't
I'm
have to.
thankful for that.
I-
That
I-
meant a lot.
Shout out to
I
Emma.
could have picked a different one. I should have brought some Burnett's or
Nah, dude.
some Mad Dog or something. We could put.
So Matt, though, you going borderline.
That would have been disrespectful.
No, I mean anything you bring is appreciative. You know what I mean?
Except Jim Beam apple in a plastic container, like don't
or
do
that
Keep
creek
that
water
over.
stuff.
Creek water.
What's that about?
Yeah, we can't talk.
That ain't.
Shout out to our
Mountain water.
sponsors, Colossal Brand. Go check him out. Jay's doing some wonderful things. If you don't know about Colossal Brand, colossalbrand.org. He has T-shirts, he has hats, hoodies, some of the freshest gear ever. Shout out also to Feed Spot, Top 25 Podcast, who they rank podcasts in the country, and they put us in the top 25 podcasts. Shout out to them. Straight love. Appreciate what we're doing at MI. We're going to keep doing it. I don't think we're ever going to stop doing it.
What's that?
Podcasting.
Oh, the podcast. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. We do a lot. It's a lot going on. But
Yeah, and again, we're going to be on the stage for Major League Barbers, talking about the main stage, talking about mental health, which is important. Tennessee just passed the law again. Shout out to Tennessee for barbers, stylists, cosmetologists to talk about, get trained in domestic violence. I think that's big.
and you're ahead of the curve on that. You've already had somebody come by the school and train.
Yes. She came by and did a wonderful job for us. I think our job, we shouldn't, as barbers, shouldn't take it for granted because we have a responsibility to our community,
Absolutely.
to our clients, and to the next generation of barbers coming up. So those things are vital and very important because we are pillars in the community.
Yep.
We are people who people look up to, believe it or not. We have a big voice, and I think barbering is something that you should look after your community. You should pour into your community. You shouldn't just take out of your community. You should pour in.
And I want to say this just because one of my brother-in-law I cut with, he by the Hills by the Blade, just lost a client last week who killed himself.
Oh,
so
man.
I just want to say, and right now, I mean, it's got to be an all-time high right now because it seems like here and left and right. You know, even if you're listening to this and you're a barber and you're dealing with difficult things, you know, just there's always somebody
Talk
can
to
help.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you know, I'm not saying. I mean, if you want to message me on Instagram, whatever, it doesn't matter. Talk to somebody.
Speak to your barber.
Exactly.
Bring
And,
it
and
up.
if you're a barber and you have somebody in your chair, treat them like you love them. Honestly, that's the only way I can say it because you might not know when that's the last time. You know, this guy, he went to work. I mean, he worked the whole shift. I mean, there could have been somebody at that job that could have said something to change his out course, but it didn't happen. Or maybe there was, and he just had his decision made. You know, talk to somebody.
And for barbers out there, it's just as simple as saying, hey, you know what? I have this number, which is the suicide prevention line. Every barber should know it. And just tell your clients, hey, I don't know what you're going through, but I know someone. Here's a number of someone who could help.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. Here's a number of someone who could help. And reach out, give them the number. This is a local suicide prevention hotline number. Every state has one. There's a national one. So, I mean, look out for your community. Look out for your clients. It's important. We're just not just taking money from them. We also have to pour into them and give them because that's vital. That's important.
Yeah, this is a good one, man. I like this podcast.
And that's where we're going to keep the industry on the high and let people know, hey, we take our job serious.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you guys think?
About the
Pertaining to
the podcast in general. No, dude, I love this, man. This is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little goofy.
It's goofy. That's good though.
In the best way possible.
I like goofy.
Yeah, I think it's major, man. I think it's important to doing what we're doing because every time someone calls and sends a note or sends a text or something to MI and myself, I mean, it makes us feel good about what we're doing. And we just keep pushing.
It's like getting re-energized. It's like going to continuing education class. Like people that, you know, tell you they appreciate it. Shout out to James Como. You know, it just gets you some extra energy.
We got to get James on the podcast too as well.
Yeah,
we can zoom him in.
Yeah, we'll get James out here. That'd be cool. I might message him and ask him if he wants to do that.
Yeah, that'd be big. That'd be big.
Sure.
That'd be big. So what are your lasting impressions on continuing education, Clara? If someone is just debating, just don't know what to do, or just having a hard time, or they by themselves, and a lot
Full
of
on
people.
Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
That's it.
Shoo.
That's it. You got form.
Shoo.
You got form like Voltron.
But I will say, even
Hell yeah.
Right.
even
go.
even as a shop, I mean, Cody and Preston are the reason that I'm here at all. And so even as a shop,
Get 'em
Preston texting us and being like, "Hey, we're doing this as a team," or like, "Let's do this as a team," and building that morale. Like, just do it
I
and
mean,
get
but
your people around you to do it.
that's that mentor though. That's that
yeah.
mentorship. When you believe in someone, you have a mentor, and you know they
Yeah, they're the best.
unequivocally going to tell you the
Whatever.
right thing to do at all times. You know what I mean? You got to support that. That's important.
I think for like yes, definitely continue education, but like as a leader, I feel like I have that responsibility. Like I'm charged to make sure that my people, and Cody included in that, like he pushes me, and I hope I push him. But I have that responsibility to my shop to make sure that Clara and Devin and whoever else ever comes in, that they know like we're going to push you to be your best self.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't get that, and to
Mhm.
those who don't have that support system around them, I would find other local barbershops. Maybe you're happy with where you're at, but you're not happy with the mentality that you're getting. Find someone that you respect to be like, hey, can you pour into me in this sense of like that this will help push me, and then like I hope that person's motivated enough to do that.
And again, you don't have to wait until you're in a shop.
Totally.
When you're in school, even if you're in high school, you're thinking about being a barber and you want to go. I think that's a perfect time to think about, hey, take your parents, have them go to you to a continuing education course or go to a hair show so your parents can see the industry, to see like the 5, 10,000, thousands of people who are in the room who just love this industry. Because people don't, until you go to a hair show, till you go to a continuing education course, you really don't understand
Absolutely.
the magnitude of what this industry have. Because this is a $32 billion industry yearly. And most people don't believe that. $32 billion.
Big deal.
Get a
Yeah.
piece of that pie. Get a piece of that pie. $32 billion.
Let me get about 250 mil. Let me get some.
Hey, you can.
Trying to get several pieces of pie.
I want,
Go
split
back
that
for
pie.
seconds.
Yeah, you
Try a little
can.
bit.
You can, though.
Yeah,
It's so big. It's so major. You can.
Yeah, dude.
And going to those things just magnifies the love that you're going to experience, the love that you will acquire, the love that you're going to get. I mean, I remember my first time going to a hair show. And when I didn't even go to hair shows when I was cutting in the shop. I never went to a hair show until we went to school.
No
My
way.
first hair show was when we went to school.
That was the Alabama one.
That was my first hair show ever.
No way.
Because like I said, you get stuck and other barbers, they don't want to go because in their mindset, you're getting that assembly line thing. You don't realize the importance. And
Yeah.
you go to, you like a kid in a candy store.
Right on. I have a story about Alabama, by the way. We don't have to. It's great, but if we don't have time, I won't share it. But
Go ahead, share it.
dude, I have to. This is it's so good. So Tristan, Cody, and I, we were students. So we were looking for anything barber related, and that was Premier, or was that was Bronner Brothers, wasn't it?
That wasn't. Was
it Premier?
Yep.
Okay, so Premier was primarily cosmetology.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a few barbers, and one of them was Ruzel. And so we went to the Ruzel booth. It was super tight. Shout out to Martin; he's super rad, and Nick. But yeah, super rad dudes. But anyway, we got to know them over that whole day. And so by the end of that day, they gave us a bunch of free stuff. And they were like, hey, the only thing we're asking is that tomorrow you wear those shirts. And we're like, yeah, totally.
That's easy.
So we wore these shirts the next day. And people thought we were part of the Ruzel team.
Okay.
No, so it gets bad. So we start walking around, like people are like looking at us like, oh, these guys are legit and stuff. And so I got a photo with some dude at a pomade company. I won't name the name because I feel terrible about it. But he was like, oh, you're part of, like, he's like, can we get a picture? And I didn't pick up on it at first. It's like, totally. And so and then Cody was like, yo, I think he thinks we're with Ruzel. And I was like, oh no. And so like we start getting this stuff, right? And so Cody goes to the there's like a really bougie makeup kit thing that we were selling, like line out the door. And they're like, oh, you're the Ruzel guys. Like, come on, like let's get you through the line real quick so you can get back to your booth. And Cody was trying to pick something up for his wife. So he was like, yeah, all right, cool.
He's like, look at you, Preston. How dare you abuse this shirt power?
That was so dope though, because we had a great time, and I think that's when Tristan got his hair cut by 360 Jeezy.
Oh,
did.
really?
Yeah.
360 Jeezy was there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he
Man.
came. So that's a great story too.
Yeah.
That was the first year Caliber came on the scene,
Mhm.
and so that was a really big kind of like, what do we do? Like, so Jeezy rolls in with his whole posse. Super nice guy, by the way. Super down to
360,
earth.
shout out.
Super nice dude. And so Jeezy rolls up and he's talking to these guys, and they're like, "Yeah, our Clippers are the best." Da, da, da. And so 360 was like, "Let's put it to the test right now." So he grabs Tristan, sits him down, runs through a haircut, gives them like some real constructive criticism. Like, who doesn't want that? But I truly think that because he like did that,
Yep.
they went back to the lab and like
They got a dope clipper now.
They got some
it's
dope
tough.
clippers
It's
now.
tough. They're tough. Yeah. I mean,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Y'all got to see innovation.
Dude.
You got to see
I
some
mean,
of
it
the
was
big deal.
It was big. It was major. And I think who cut Tristan's hair? Or Tristan cut someone's hair.
Oh yeah, he cut
Devon
for the you talking about for the design team?
Yeah.
Or the design
for the competition.
he did Nikki Smith.
Yes.
She's a local artist now. I don't know if she still does hair exclusively, but she does a lot of makeup stuff now.
Yep.
Super rad. But she straight up was like, do my head. Like, she's like, I don't care. So she gave Tristan a huge opportunity.
I think Devon was in the competition too, wasn't he? I think Devon did the competition too. Him and Tristan.
That's great. 360
Maybe.
Jeezy is like
Yeah.
the Coco Mel in the barber world. Like that's like your first, seriously. That's like the first one you pull
Pops
up on YouTube.
Yeah.
360. Like everybody knows who he
Yeah,
is.
it was a good experience. We came down there and came down to collective. It was dope.
That was dope. That was really
It
good.
was fun.
That's a cool story. That's funny, Cody. He's like, oh, how dare you press.
So I did it first.
It's
And then
literally
he
them
was
every
like,
day.
yeah, let's do this. So
Like an old married couple.
That was big.
awesome.
That was dope. I mean, and then we kept going. We just kept. I've been to about like 5 hair shows now. I went to one in Vegas.
it's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, and
Are you ever going to bring the Confess Project to a show?
But we're doing it on the Major League
Sick.
Barbers, and then the guy called me sent me a
Vegas?
message from IBS on Friday or Saturday. And
That's awesome.
so we're thinking about that.
That's awesome.
So that's gonna be.
I don't ever think about it. You just like, let's go. We go.
Let's go.
But we're going to Memphis here in a couple of weeks.
That's a big deal.
Memphis, we coming. Check us out. We'll be at a local barber school doing the Confess Project. Shout out to, I don't know the barber school's name. I forgot. But we're going to be out there doing some things.
So it's, is it Selena Camp? Is that
Selena Campbell.
she had us doing yoga? That was so fun. That's hilarious. She took a picture of all of us doing yoga and stuff. It's
Yeah,
dude,
hilarious.
yoga?
Selena's the
Please
best.
share that photo.
She
You
she
don't wanna
never
see that
did
photo.
share. It's hilarious.
I told her not to.
Hey, this one who said, I mean, he had the whole. He was killing it.
Well, Selena had us in the pose for like 5 seconds. I'm like, Selena, take the picture, please. She's like, I like her. Everybody's like trying to hold their leg up.
Bunch of
Selena,
dudes
hurry up.
running.
And she's
Take
like,
that picture.
She get the Craig angle?
yeah. She was
He
like,
told her not to share it. Why? I wanted to share that picture.
oh man, it was. She's. I'll tell her share it with
Share
you.
a picture.
But anyway, as all good things got to come to an end, I'll let you guys say out your last words before we get off air. We've been on it for like an hour and like 10 minutes. It doesn't seem that long.
Yeah, that went back
Well,
quick.
it's been great.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So, what's your last words, Clara? What do you think about the podcast? Your whole experience. Your last words. What do you want to say to the masses out there? Where can they find you? And
Oh,
what do
man,
you do?
okay.
Tell them your Instagram name,
You
your
just gave me
name.
a whole freaking list. All right. You can find me at Clara W. Grace. And
Boss female barber. For any female barbers out there want to get some inspiration, hit her up.
She's killing it.
thank you
She's
guys.
absolutely
Oh, you guys are the best. Thanks. But no, continue your education. Just do the thing, and bring some people with you so that you're not like nervous and shy, because I get it. Introverting is difficult to battle sometimes.
40% of the new barbers now are females coming into the industry.
That's
40%.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, do the thing, and this podcast has been wonderful. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Big,
Absolutely.
big,
been
big,
fun.
big.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I would say like love yourself enough, love your craft enough, and love your people enough to want to pursue that continued education. And however small that may be, that and maybe as simple as going to the barber shop next door to find something new and to grow a relationship, and then it may end up leading you to a hair show. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Just take those small first steps.
Mhm.
You can find me at Preston Cuts Hair, at Breaker Barber Company. Yeah, thank you so much for having us, man. This has been awesome. I love doing this. So
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Am I Fields? Am I your barber? Me on Instagram. Am I your barber? AMMI your barber. Some people's already found me already, and just continue to grow. Like if you're not learning until the day you die, like did you even really live? You know what I'm saying? That's just for me. I mean, if I don't, if I've never felt like I was good enough at anything. So, but not in a negative way, but just in a sense of I always want to get better. I never want to. I never wanted to start decaying.
That's big. I appreciate you guys' feedback again. The feedback that we get from you guys, any questions that you might have, anything that you might have for a show, let us know. And if you can't, you don't have the money, and I know sometimes some things are cash based, and if you don't have the income, you can always stop by a local barbershop in your neighborhood, in your community, and ask a barber some questions. Ask a barber for help. Don't hold yourself in and deprive yourself of learning. Ask a barber. And if the barber is not receptive to wanting to teach you, want to give you information, go to a next barber because I'm pretty sure the next one will open up to you and want to pour into you what was poured into them. Because this wonderful industry of ours, someone had to be your Ripple. Someone was my Ripple. Someone was Clara's Ripple. Someone was Preston Ripple. So in this industry, someone had to be your Ripple. So never forget that. Even for the most senior barbers out there, 20, 30 years, someone was your Ripple. Always try to give back to the industry. Give back to someone wanting to learn. Give back to your high school. Give back to kids in middle school because there's plenty of kids out there who are afraid to tell their parents that they don't want to go to college, that they just want to be a barber, a cosmetologist or electrician, a plumber, whatever it may be. Don't hesitate to give back because this trade industry is wonderful. Everybody's not meant to go to a 4-year school to get a 4-year degree, but everybody's meant to have opportunity in life. And opportunity in life comes in so many different things, so many different ways, in trades. And big up yourself. Don't be afraid. Get out there on that limb and try it. Give yourself some hope. Give yourself a chance. Because in this life of ours, sometimes we have to start from within. When we start from within, we can look out. Each one teach one.
Spit the freestyle, Preston. Nobody's done it yet.
nope, can't do that.
Clara, let's go. On top of the dome.
Nope, got nothing.
The build up had us. Everybody was waiting. Everybody's gonna hear it and be like, "Oh shoot,
she gonna drop something."
Clara paused like she was coming with some heat.
The wheels started turning.
Yeah.
Now I'm all red. Dang it!
I was like, okay, Drake, come on now. He's gonna
Found my new career. Dang.
get ready to get featured on one of Drake's album. Yeah.
Shout out to Drake, I guess.
Yeah, no, he might come out.
There you go.
Barber College Success. Appreciate you guys coming out. Sponsored by Craig's Crown Cuts, Bristol, Craig's Crown Cuts, Johnson City, and Craig's Crown Cuts downtown. With my co-host himself, Am Fields, Am I your barber, the killer up there in Southwest Virginia, making things happen, making things
Yes, sir.
the barber instructor, the barber educator, the traveling educator.
Let's go.
In person, traveling the country, doing major things. And again, shout out to all you guys out there. Spreading love. The JC way is the only way we know how to do it is the Crown Cuts way. Boom.